Okay.
Lonnie, there is arguably no one more qualified to talk about war than you. You're an original founding member, and you're still the only original member part of the group. Take me back to the early days. How did you guys get together? What did you come up with this idea?
First of all, we met in junior high school, and we started doing a lot of talent shows. These were rebellion guys who got together, including myself, and said, "Let's start a band," and that's how it happened.
Lonnie, you're credited with co-writing many of War's biggest hits, including Lowrider. Tell me a little bit of what inspired you to write that song.
Well, actually, Charles Miller, our original saxophone player, he was the one that sing. He sung Lowrider, his low voice and everything. He bought a Lowrider car, and then Charles came into the studio with an idea when he bought his Lowrider 1952 Chevrolet. Came in with this idea of something that just didn't make sense. And all of a sudden, Jerry said, "Listen, you just bought a lowrider car. Why don't we just call it, since you just came off the streets and you have this impression of what you came off the street with, how about singing about lowriders?"
One website has this to say about War, and I'm going to quote it right now. War, a musical crossover band that became known for its eclectic blend of funk, soul, jazz, and rock. Is that an accurate statement of back then and perhaps even today?
Yeah, that was their interpretation, but mine is universal street music. A big bowl of gumbo, or a mixed salad bowl. And so from my ears to yours and yours to mine, we have like we become one musically because it's our fans that helped us write our music. So they're part of that too.
How did you come up with the name War?
Well, it's a story behind that one. Uh, do you have an hour? No, just kidding.
Sure.
No, no. We were actually we were on one of our last shows in Japan back in 1908, and no, just kidding. It was a while back, and I would say when during the time of Eric Burden and War, and before we call ourselves War, Eric was the one who actually came up with the name, and we were walking down the street in Japan, my first time I ever had sake in my life. And back in those days in the alley, the cars would drive down the street with just their park lights on, not the headlights, because it was illegal to have your headlights on. So here we are walking down the street with these big bell bottoms and big afros, different colors, rainbow coalition, and there was a guy walking the opposite way of us across the street, and he looked at us, and we just wanted to ask him a question. We wanted to ask him where a certain restaurant was we were looking for, and he stared at us, and he kept walking. In fact, he started walking faster, and he looked at us, and I said, "Oh my God, I think we scared this guy." And the next thing I know, our producer, Jerry Goldstein, manager, Steve Gold, and Eric Burden. Eric Burden, they popped this, they looked back at us and they said, "I would run too if I saw you guys." And they said, "You guys look like you just came out of a battlefield." And that's when the name War popped up from the word battlefield.
I was wondering if there was a backstory, and that is an interesting one.
But let me continue.
Oh,
One,
I'm sorry.
and this is quicker. You should be. No, no, just kidding. No, but you have to understand that our war then, once we were called war, and our war now, do not shed blood. And our secret weapons are our instruments. That's our
Amazing.
choice of weapons, So this is a good war. And if you turn war around, you get raw. We are an organic band, and we will always be.
One cannot have a discussion about war without mentioning the band's very first hit, Spill the Wine. As a disc jockey, I remember that song hitting the airwaves. I love the instrumentation, and I was intrigued by the lyrics, Spill the Wine. I was going to ask you to do a backstory on that, but I'm going to ask you to confirm, is there any truth to the rumor that
Yes.
it had something to do with spilling wine?
Accidentally. It was an accident. And that's how Jerry, our engineer, Chris Huston at the time, and Jerry Goldstein popped up and said, look, he just, I mean, we didn't have a song to the track at first. And after I'm watching Eric record at the, Eric was in the, he was in the vocal booth. I had this fit of Gallo wine and and a styrofoam cup sitting down on the board, and it was close to all the patch bay of the board recording board. And all of a sudden, I poured this big bottle in a small styrofoam cup, and it poured over into the board and fried it, and it started smoking. And I said, "Oh no, what have I done?"
And it was, you spilled the wine, and hence,
And Eric and Jerry said, "Spill the wine. We should just name it Spill the Wine."
that's funny.
Yeah. And
Looking at your
that's how we make our songs. You know, we just do it from experience or from the streets. That's why I call our music universal street music. You know.
I was looking at the website just before we started the interview. You and your fellow band members, there's no rest for the weary. My gosh, I was looking, when you leave Grand Blanc with Warwick Hills Country Club this weekend, you're booked throughout the whole fall, well into next May when you're going to Germany. Lonnie, I've got to ask you, I mean, don't you get tired? When is it time to say, Lonnie, I'm giving up? What keeps you moving?
My fans tired. What is that? Oh, sorry. Are you still there, Bill?
I'm still here.
Oh, okay. No, tired. There's no such thing. Uh, I I will eventually stop when I drop. But I love my music so much. My fans keep me going. I mean, my fans, they are my rock and roll hall of fans. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. You know, so I have to, I'm a reflection of my fans. We are one. And I'm doing this for them, and they do it for me. So that's what keeps me going.